The scanner flashed green beside Adrienne Holloway's name. Seat 1A remained confirmed. Brenda Kessler looked at the screen. She asked Adrienne to wait beside the podium. No warning appeared on the boarding pass. No seat conflict appeared on the monitor. Adrienne moved one step aside. Her leather tote stayed beside her right foot. At 7:14 that evening, Northline Flight 418 was boarding at Gate C12. Hudson International Airport showed the flight on schedule. The aircraft doors remained open. Judith Hale stood behind Adrienne. She watched Brenda scan the pass again. The same green bar crossed the screen. Full FAR. First class. Seat 1A. Please remain here until I finish this check. Adrienne looked at the monitor. What still needs verification? Brenda did not answer. Russell Vance entered from the concourse. A garment bag hung from one shoulder. He placed a black membership card on the podium. I need my original seat restored. Brenda entered his name. The monitor loaded his reservation. Russell had missed the required check-in window. His first-class seat had returned to inventory. The cabin now showed full. Brenda checked the seat map twice. Russell tapped one finger against the counter. My London meeting starts tomorrow morning. Brenda opened the passenger list. Adrienne's name appeared at the top. Owen Price worked at the next terminal. He looked toward Brenda's screen. Brenda selected Adrienne's reservation. A new panel covered the seat map. Manual cabin reassignment appeared across the top. The system listed Seat 1A as paid and confirmed. A second line appeared beneath it. Paid cabin downgrade. Second approval required. Owen stopped typing. His hand remained above the keyboard. Adrienne watched Brenda move the cursor. Which supervisor approved the downgrade? Brenda kept her eyes on the screen. This is a service adjustment. No supervisor stood at the podium. No name appeared in the approval field. Brenda entered her employee code. The approval box stayed blank. Owen lowered his hand. He did not open an incident form. Brenda pressed the override control. Seat 1A disappeared from Adrienne's reservation. Seat 38E appeared in its place. The printer started beneath the counter. A new boarding pass moved into the tray. Your seat has been changed. Adrienne picked up the pass. She held it beneath the podium light. The bottom line showed Brenda's employee code. The next line showed the override time. The final field remained empty. Second approval, none. Adrienne placed the new pass behind the original one. Print the transaction record. Brenda looked toward Russell. He had already entered the boarding lane. A second page entered the tray. Judith checked the clock above the gate. She entered the time into her phone. Owen watched the paper leave the printer. He still did not touch the incident control. Brenda handed the record to Adrienne. Seat 1A now appeared beside Russell's name. He entered the jet bridge first. Adrienne waited until the lane cleared. She walked to the aircraft door. The flight attendant scanned her replacement pass. The screen accepted Seat 38E. No question followed. Adrienne entered the cabin. Russell stood beneath the first overhead bin. He placed his garment bag above Seat 1A. Adrienne continued toward the rear. Calvin Dorsey occupied the aisle seat in row 38. He stood when she reached the row. He lifted her tote into the overhead bin. Adrienne sat in the middle seat. She fastened the belt. The original pass remained in her left hand. The replacement pass remained in her right. She placed both papers on the tray table. The timestamps did not match. Adrienne photographed them together. She opened a secure message. The recipient line showed Mara Ellison. Adrienne entered the override code. She added 6 words. Preserve C12 override, hold release. She sent the message. At the gate, Brenda closed Adrienne's reservation. Inside the operations system, the departure status changed. Release suspended appeared beside Flight 418. The transaction record still showed one empty field. Second, approval had never been entered. The cockpit printer started before the doors closed. Captain Daniel Rourke removed the paper. Departure release suspended appeared across the top. He read the code beneath the notice. The code matched a passenger seat override. First Officer Lena Morris checked dispatch. The flight still showed at the gate. No weather restriction appeared. No maintenance alert appeared. No security notice appeared. Captain Rourke lifted the radio. Dispatch, Confirm the release suspension. Static filled the cockpit. Then the response arrived. Flight 418 must hold at the gate. Captain Rourke looked at the printed notice. What is the stated reason? Passenger control audit. The cockpit remained quiet. Captain Rourke placed the notice beside the manifest. He opened the current seat record. Russell Vance appeared in seat 1A. Adrienne Holloway appeared in seat 38E. The original manifest showed the opposite assignment. Captain Rourke stood. He carried both records into the forward galley. At gate C12, Elliot Crane opened the override log. He worked from a secure operations terminal. The first entry showed Adrienne's original scan. The pass had cleared at 7:14. The second entry showed Russell's expired check-in status. The third entry showed Brenda's manual reassignment. The supervisor field contained no name. Elliot selected the transaction. He locked the record against further edits. A red border appeared around the file. Preservation active replaced the edit controls. Mara Ellison stood beside him. She opened the employee statement channel. The system sent a notice to Owen Price. Protected reporting enabled appeared on his screen. Owen read the message. Brenda stood 3 feet away. She held the gate phone against her shoulder. Owen opened the incident form. The cursor waited inside the first field. He entered the scan result. He entered the warning message. He entered the empty approval field. He stopped before the final line. Brenda lowered the phone. Close that screen. Owen looked at the protected reporting notice. He continued typing. I saw the warning before the seat changed. He submitted the statement. The system issued a record number. Owen wrote the number on a baggage tag. He placed the tag inside his jacket pocket. Judith Hale received a witness link. She opened the video from her phone. The recording showed Adrienne's pass scan green. The gate clock remained visible above Brenda. Russell entered the frame 2 minutes later. The printer released the new pass after that. Judith uploaded the recording. She added the 3 times beneath it. The witness file joined Owen's statement. Elliot compared both records. The sequence matched the system log. Brenda entered the aircraft. The gate phone remained in her hand. Captain Rourke met her near the cockpit door. He held the 2 manifests side by side. Who approved this downgrade? Brenda looked at the revised record. It was a service adjustment. Captain Rourke pointed to the empty field. I asked who approved it. Brenda did not provide a name. Russell stood from seat 1A. His jacket remained across the seatback. I am a top-tier customer. Captain Rourke looked at the manifest. Your status does not create a seat assignment. Russell stepped into the aisle. The gate agent fixed the issue. Captain Rourke held up the original record. This document shows no seat for you. Russell looked toward Brenda. She did not answer. Captain Rourke checked the aircraft status. Seat 1A showed no defect. No equipment change appeared. No load restriction appeared. No medical request appeared. No operational reason supported the change. In row 38, Calvin Dorsey adjusted his armrest. Adrienne kept both boarding passes on her tray. The old pass showed seat 1A. The new pass showed seat 38E. Calvin looked at the printed times. They changed it after you reached the gate. Adrienne placed the papers together. The record needs to remain unchanged. Calvin nodded once. He returned his hands to his lap. Mara and Elliot entered the jet bridge. They carried no public announcement. Elliot held the printed override log. Mara carried a corporate control notice. Captain Rourke met them at the aircraft door. Elliot handed him the transaction record. The blank approval field remained visible. Mara opened the control notice. Holloway Meridian Holdings appeared on the first page. Northline Airways appeared beneath it. The transfer date matched that morning. Captain Rourke turned the page. The document listed authorized control officers. Adrienne Holloway appeared at the top. He looked at the manifest. The same name appeared beside seat 38E. Captain Rourke closed the folder. Mara walked toward the rear cabin. She stopped beside Adrienne's row. Ms. Holloway, the transaction has been preserved. Adrienne stood. Calvin moved into the aisle. Mara lowered her voice. Do you want an ownership directive issued? Adrienne held out the 2 boarding passes. Restore the manifest. Mara accepted the papers. Anything else? Lock the override credential. Elliot heard the instruction from the aisle. He opened his secure tablet. Brenda's employee profile appeared. The manual reassignment control remained active. Elliot selected the access field. He did not confirm the lock yet. Captain Rourke placed the control notice beside the manifest. Adrienne's name remained visible on both pages. Seat 1A still carried Russell's name. The aircraft remained attached to the gate. Elliot Crane pressed the access control. Brenda Kessler's credential changed status. Manual cabin reassignment suspended. The confirmation time entered the audit log. Brenda watched from the forward galley. Her employee tablet refreshed. The seat controls disappeared. Captain Daniel Rourke opened the locked manifest. He compared both versions. Adrienne Holloway held the original boarding pass. Mara Ellison held the replacement pass. Elliot read the transaction result. Seat 1A belongs to Ms. Holloway. Captain Rourke looked toward Russell Vance. Russell remained beside the first-class seat. His jacket covered the headrest. His garment bag remained overhead. The gate assigned this seat to me. Captain Rourke raised the locked manifest. The assignment was not authorized. Russell looked toward Brenda. She kept both hands beside the gate phone. No supervisor name appeared in the record. No operational code appeared in the record. No second approval appeared in the record. Captain Rourke pointed toward the aircraft door. "Collect your belongings." Russell did not move. "I have top-tier status. Your status does not create a valid seat." Russell removed his jacket. He pulled down the garment bag. No passenger spoke. No one blocked the aisle. Russell walked toward the aircraft door. Mara stepped aside. A ground coordinator met him outside. His reservation returned to standby review. The next premium seat left the following morning. The aircraft door remained open. Captain Rourke turned toward Elliot. "Restore the original manifest." Elliot selected the preserved record. He removed Russell from seat 1A. He restored Adrienne Holloway. The system requested a reason code. Elliot entered UN-authorized reassignment. He attached Brenda's employee code. He attached Owen Price's statement number. He attached Judith Hale's witness file. The corrected manifest printed near the cockpit. Captain Rourke signed the new copy. The first manifest entered an evidence sleeve. Mara sealed the sleeve. She wrote the preservation number across the flap. Adrienne remained near row 38. Calvin Dorsey stood beside the aisle seat. He removed her tote from the overhead bin. Adrienne accepted it. "Thank you." Calvin returned to his seat. No upgrade followed. No special service followed. His name remained beside 38D. Adrienne walked toward the front. Passengers moved their feet from the aisle. She reached seat 1A. A flight attendant replaced the headrest cover. Adrienne placed her tote beneath the console. She remained standing. Elliot faced Brenda. "Sign out of the terminal." Brenda looked toward Mara. This was one service decision. Mara placed the override log on the counter. One decision passed a required approval. Brenda removed her employee card. She placed it beside the gate phone. Elliot issued a temporary access receipt. The receipt listed 3 suspended functions: seat reassignment, cabin downgrade, passenger status override. Brenda signed the receipt. A ground manager escorted her into the jet bridge. No security officer touched her. No passenger followed her. Owen Price remained at gate C12. His incident statement stayed in the protected system. The submission time appeared before Brenda's suspension. Judith's video remained attached beneath it. Captain Rourke lifted the intercom. The delay resulted from an unauthorized seat reassignment. Several passengers looked toward first class. "The passenger record has been corrected." He returned the handset. No names were announced. No ownership title was announced. Elliot changed the delay code. General operations disappeared. Passenger service control failure replaced it. Mara checked the new code. Adrienne read it from the printed record. She sat in seat 1A. Captain Rourke returned to the cockpit. The aircraft door closed. The jet bridge moved away. Northline Flight 418 left 43 minutes late. The revised manifest remained beside the captain. The sealed copy remained with Mara. The next morning, Elliot opened a limited review. The search used one condition: paid cabin downgrade without second approval. The system returned 11 prior transactions. 4 carried Brenda's credential. Each showed an empty approval field. Each passenger received the fare difference. Each passenger received additional compensation. The remaining records entered manual review. No unrelated complaint entered the file. Owen attended a protected interview. He confirmed the warning appeared first. He confirmed he did not stop the transaction. His schedule remained unchanged. His terminal access stayed active. He completed a new escalation certification. Judith submitted her written timeline. Her timestamps matched the system log. Brenda attended an access review 10 days later. The panel examined the Seat 1A transaction. The panel examined the 4 earlier downgrades. The panel examined each blank approval field. No valid operating reason appeared. Her cabin reassignment certification was revoked. Northline ended her employment after the review. The final notice cited repeated action outside standard authority. Russell received no seat on Flight 418. His account retained the missed check-in record. No employee could override it afterward. Northline deployed a new control the following month. Every paid downgrade required 2 credentials. The original seat stayed locked during review. The passenger received an automatic notice. A protected objection froze the transaction. The audit log stored both employee names. 3 months later, another late passenger reached gate C12. First class showed full. A gate agent selected a confirmed passenger. The downgrade screen opened. Second approval required appeared. The supervisor field stayed empty. The confirm control remained gray. The original passenger's name stayed beside the seat. The next override stopped before the seat moved. This story is fictional.